Shalom everyone, and thank you very much for coming out here. B'Shem Hashem, Na'aseh v'Natzliach. Continuing on with our shiur in the Sefer Olam Hamidot. Be'ezrat Hashem, we're starting the last chapter, Olam HaChesed, right? The portion that encompasses everything, which is Chesed, the world of Chesed. Our Chachamim tell us that on three things does the world stand, right? In the beginning of Pirkei Avot, very beginning of Pirkei Avot, it says, Al Shelosha Devarim Ha'olam Omed, on three things the world stands. Al HaTorah, Ve'al HaAvodah, Ve'al Gemilut Chasadim. The world stands upon Torah, Avodah, serving Hashem, and Gemilut Chasadim, that's kindness. And in the Masechet Makot, they tell us, the Gemara discusses how we had 613 paths to connect to Hashem, and as time progressed, these paths, Chachamim, or our Nevi'im, they limited it more and more, that we would be able to connect with Hashem even with less steps. And our Chachamim teach us that throughout generations, this became more and more concentrated, and they say that Ba Micha was one of the 12 Nevi'im. It says Ba Micha v'Hamidan al Shalosh, three things that are required for a person to connect to Hashem. Pasuk says, Higid lecha Adam, ma tov, u'ma Hashem doresh memecha. The person tells you what is good, what does Hashem demand of you. Ki im asot mishpat, ve'ahavat chesed, ve'hatznei lechet im elokech. These three things, right? To do justice, and to love kindness, and to be modest in your ways with Hashem. These are the three things that Micha and Navi tells us that will connect us to Hashem. That's all Hashem demands of us. Actually, this is a haftarah of Parashat Bil'am. Just, by the way, Balak. And it says in Masechet Sotah, the pasuk in the Torah that says us, Acharei Hashem Elokechem telechu, one should go after Hashem. So the Chachamim ask, how is it possible that a person should follow Hashem? Hashem is like fire. Ki Hashem Elohecha esh ochlahu. Moshe Rabbeinu tells us that Hashem is like fire, burning fire. How could you cling to Hashem? How could you follow Hashem? You get burnt. It says it means to tell us, Masechet Sotah explains that it means to tell us that we got to go after the attributes of Hashem, after the midot of Hashem. So they pick a few different examples. They say, Mahu malbish arumim, just like Hashem clothed Adam Arishon and Chava, Af atah halbesh arumim, he also should look and try to do chesed, and people who don't have the means, clothe them. HaKadosh Baruch Hu biker cholim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu visited the sick by Avraham Avinu, Af atah baker cholim, so too you should try and go and visit the sick. HaKadosh Baruch Hu nichem avelim, after Avraham Avinu passed away, Hashem came to Yitzchak and comforted him. So too you should go comfort the avelim, people that are mourning. HaKadosh Baruch Hu kavar metim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu buried the dead by Moshe Rabbeinu at the end of the Torah. Af atah kavar metim, you should also bury the dead, doing chesed to the dead. That is the Gemara in Masechet Sotah, page 14. Also, it says over there, Darash Rav Simlai, one of the Chachamim, his name was Rav Simlai, he said the Torah, the beginning of it was kindness, and the end of the Torah ended with kindness. In the beginning, what does it say? Vayas Hashem Elokim kotnot or vayalbishem. Hashem Elokim made special clothes for Adam and Chava, and he clothed them. The end of Torah is Gemilut Chasadim, is kindness, because it says Vayikbor oto bagai. Hashem buried Moshe. Hashem himself buried Moshe. That was the end of the Torah. In Avod Rabbi Natan, it's brought. Actually, Chavetz Chaim also quotes it in his famous sefer, very much recommended. The sefer is called Ahavat Chesed, loving kindness, by the Chafetz Chaim. It's also translated to English. Chafetz Chaim also quotes it. It says, one time, Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai, the leader of the Jewish nation at the time of the destruction of the second Beit HaMikdash, he was leaving Yerushalayim, and Rabbi Yeshua, which is Rabbi Yeshua bar Chanina, was walking behind him. And he saw the Beit HaMikdash destroyed. Rabbi Yeshua says, Oy lanu al zeh shehu charev. Woe to us on this, that the Beit HaMikdash is destroyed. Makom shemekaperim bo avonotehem shel Yisrael, the place where all the sins of Israel would be cleansed. Amar lo beni, Rabbi Yeshua told Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai told Rabbi Yeshua, Al yera lecha, don't let this bother you. Yesh lanu kapara achat shehi kemota. We have another kapara which is like the Beit HaMikdash. Ve'eze zeh gemilut chasadim. What is it? Doing kindness, giving kindness, being kind. How do we know? Pasuk in Hosea says, Ki chesed chafatzti velo zevach. Hashem says, I want you to do chesed, to do kindness. I don't want your offerings. Meaning, when you don't have the offerings, do chesed. And it says in the Midrash, we're bringing a whole collection of different places where Chachamim are giving us encouragement to be kind and to do kindness. It says in the Midrash, in Sefer Hosea, right there, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Chaviv li chesed she'atem gomlim chesed ze lazeh. It is dear for me, the chesed that you do one to another, from all the korbanot that Shlomo HaMelech would bring before me. Like it says in the Navi, that Shlomo HaMelech, he went to give on, and he would bring 1,000 offerings a day. He would bring 1,000 offerings a day. And Hashem says, the chesed that you would do to one another, that's better than the 1,000 korbanot that he would bring. It says in Masechet Rosh Hashanah. For this, we need a little introduction. In Sefer Shemuel, in the beginning, Eli HaKohen, who was the master of Shemuel HaNavi, who was the leader of the Jews, unfortunately, his children were not going in his path, in the right path. And so they were cursed. Navi comes and tells him a curse from Hashem. And the curse was that Yamutu Anashim, they should all die young. All of his descendants, they would die young. Before they would reach the age 20, they would die. Gemara Masechet Rosh Hashanah brings a bunch of different things. At the end of those different cases, it says that Rabbah and Abaye, these two Chachamim, they were also from the household of Eli HaKohen. They were the descendants. You're talking almost 1,000 years after the whole curse with Eli. Still, these families were around, Rabbah and Abaye. And Rabbah, it says in the Gemara, he taught Torah, he was the Rosh Yeshiva, he was able to live not 20 years, he lived 40 years. He passed away at age 40. Abaye was more. He was not only teaching Torah, he was also doing Gemilut Chesed. He was the Gabbai of Tzedakah. He would do a lot of Chesed. He lived 60 years. He tripled his life. Why? Because he also did Chesed. Gemara Masechet Shabbat. It says by the parasha of Ir Hanidachat. That is a city where most of the city committed idol worship. And there is a command in the Torah that you eradicate the city and you burn everything in the city. Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin says this never happened because there's so many restrictions on this city, but the principle is there. But at the end it says Venatan lecha rachamim v'richamecha, that Hashem will give you mercy and He will have mercy on you. The Farshim explained that the person, Rav Chaim Shmulevitz Zecher Tzadik V'Racha explains that if a person starts killing people, then he's going to lose the attribute of mercy. So the Torah says, "V'natal lacha rachamim." Don't worry, Hashem will plant mercy in your heart, and He will have also mercy on you for doing what you did. That's something else, not related to this. What the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat learns from here, they learn Kol hamerachem al haberiyot. Whoever has mercy on people, merachamin alav min hashamayim, they will have mercy on him from heaven. Sefer Mesed Yesharim on this explains that, how do we know this? Because Hashem deals with a person measure for measure. When a person has mercy and does chesed with other people, right? So by law, the way the system Hashem placed in the world is that they will have mercy on him, and all of his sins will be forgiven through that kindness of Hashem. Because the forgiveness, the eradication, the erasing of his sins, that's part of the judgment. Being that Hashem does everything measure for measure, just like he had mercy, and through mercy and kindness he did what he did, so too from heaven, when they're judging him, they'll have mercy and they'll erase his sins. Chafetz Chaim continues, he says, however a person makes a habit for himself, the more a person trains himself to do chesed, the more he will do chesed. That's how it is. And the more he does it, the more good and chesed he'll get from Hashem in both worlds. That's how the Chafetz Chaim ends off. A lot of encouragement in that sefer he writes about doing kindness. It says, Shlomo HaMelech, this is in the beginning of Sefer Melachim chapter 3, that Shlomo HaMelech was how old when he was a king? 12. He was 12 years old when David HaMelech passed away at age 70, and he became king. And he was king for 40 years. He lived a total of 52 years. That was Shlomo HaMelech. It says, Begiv'on nir'ah Hashem el Shlomo b'chalom halayla. He came to Giv'on, city of Giv'on. Hashem appeared to him in the dream at night. Vayomer Elokim, she'al ma eten lach. Hashem said to Shlomo, ask what I should give you. Vayomer Shlomo HaMelech says, you did chesed to my father all these years, all these things, and you did so much good for us, and so on and so forth. There's a whole thing there. And then he says, Ata himlachta et avdecha, and you made your servant king instead of David, my father. Ve'anochi na'ar katon, I'm but a young child. Lo edat set vavo, I don't know to go out, to come in, meaning I don't know my way. Ve'avdecha betoch ammecha asher bacharta, and he says that your servant is amongst the nation that you chose. Am rav asher lo yibmaneh ve'lo yisafel merov. He's a big nation, you can't count them. Meaning there's a big burden. I have a whole nation to take care of. What does he ask Hashem? All he asked for was a heart that could hear, to judge the nation. Lehavin ben tov lara, to understand between good and evil. Who could judge this heavy nation? That's all he asked for. He wants for the good of the nation, right? That's what he's asking, right? The greatness that Shlomo HaMelech asked for wasn't the fact that he's asking something spiritual. He didn't ask for physical things. No. He asked all of that because he wants the benefit of the nation. He asked for wisdom. He asked for understanding to be able to judge them. It wasn't even for his own benefit. And in that zechut, Hashem comes, literally the next pasuk, Hashem gives him a bracha. He says, Ya'an asher sha'alta et hadavar hazeh, being that you asked this. V'lo sha'alta lacha yamim rabim, you didn't ask for long life. You didn't ask, over there it says, you didn't ask for money. You didn't ask for for your enemies. You didn't ask for any of that. V'sha'alta lecha, you asked, havin lishma mishpat, you asked for understanding to be able to judge. Hashem says, Hine asiti kidvarecha, I have done like you asked. Not only that, v'gam asher lo sha'alta natati lach, even what you didn't ask for, I gave you. Gam osher, wealth, gam kavod, right? So the Gemara makes a derasha on each gam that it was like the maximum. Wealth, honor, that asher lo haya kamocha ish b'melachim kol yemei chayecha, there was none like you, anyone, all your life. What is the pasuk teaching us? What is the Navi teaching us? It's a big lesson that when we try for others, when we try for the needs of others, HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to us and He gives us what we want even more than what we ask for. So when a person is a giver, from the bottom of his heart, he looks to see other people, what they need, and he gives them. It could be just a physical help. It could be monetary help. It could be speech. It could be thought, thinking how to help them, right? Really, we're helping ourselves. It's the opposite. If a person says, no, I don't have time for them, I don't want to help them, all he's doing, he's losing out because Hashem won't give him that beracha. He says it's worth it for a person to remember when someone asks him for a favor and he says, oh man, this is bothersome, this is too much, it's gonna mess up my schedule, and so on and so forth. He says, no, don't think like that. Do what he asked you, because you're only doing a favor for yourself. And we see in our lives so many times we do chesed for someone else, and that same chesed Hashem does for us. Besides all that, Chachamim teach us that chesed is one of the 3 signs of Am Yisrael. Like Chazal said in Gemara Masechet Yevamot, there's a long story there. The Gemara says there are 3 identifications for the Jewish nation. They are Rachmanim, they're merciful. They are Baishanim, they're bashful. And they are also Gomle Chasadim. And they do loving kindness. They do kindness to one another. And Baruch Hashem, look around. You see the gemachim, the chesed things that people do. They come up with such innovation to help everyone. It's abundant within us. Baruch Hashem. And this is our job, to be able to plant this in our heart, this midah, which is so amazing. That's what Hashem wants. It says in the Torah, ve'ahavta lere'acha kamocha. You shall love. What's re'acha? Your friend, like yourself. I don't know why in English they translate love thy neighbor. I don't know. I'm not talking about neighbors. I'm talking about re'acha. Anyone who is a re'ah, anyone who is a friend, anyone who is within the realm, we have to love them like ourselves. Rabbi Akiva comes along and says that brought in the Midrash, Ze Kelal Gadol Batorah. This is a big rule of the Torah. And the Mefarshim there in the Midrash, they say that, what does that mean? Ze Kelal Gadol. This is a big rule in the Torah. It means to say, Rabbi Akiva, that this loving someone else is really something that most of our mitzvot are based on, because almost all of the mitzvot ben adam lachavro, all the mitzvot between people and their surroundings, they contain within them this mitzvah of hafta le'acha kamocha. You have to love the other person like yourself. Now, we could also understand it some other way. In order to perform the mitzvah, the command of hafta le'acha kamocha, that we should love our friends like ourselves, wholesome, in a complete manner, we have to work on every single negative midah that we have. We have to work on our gava, pride. We have to work on jealousy. We have to work on anger. We have to work on kavod. All the things that pretty much we discussed in this book, we need to work on to reach the pinnacle of becoming ve'ahavta le'acha kamocha. And the opposite also. When a person tries to do the mitzvah of ve'ahavta le'acha kamocha, automatically all these midot get fixed. We're going to see how by doing chesed, we're going to be fixing all of our other midot as well. And it says, we mentioned it already before, Gaon Mevilna says, the fact that a person is alive and breathing and he is around is all so that he could break something that he hasn't broken in his midot. If he has a bad midah, to break it, that's why he is alive. And they explain that the whole point of the Torah is for a person to be able to fix his midot. That's why we have to understand what it means. That's what Rabbi Akiva means when he says "V'ahavta le'acha kamocha" is a big rule of the Torah, because that's what the point of the Torah is. That a person will fix his midot, will perfect his midot, will make himself a better person. And it says in the Gemara that Rabbi Akiva had 12 1,000 pairs of students. Migivat al Antipras, in this area. And all of them died in one period of time. Why? Because they didn't treat each other with respect. So the question is, why didn't treat each other with respect? Simple reason is because, unfortunately, if we could even say such a thing about these people, they were great, great people. But in their level, Chachamim teach us that they might have had bad midot. They were jealous of one another. Or they had gava chas v'shalom. That's why they died. All, especially in that time. What is that time? Between Pesach and Shavuot. That was the time of preparation for the Torah. Preparation for the Torah means one has to fix his midot. And when they were not ready, they weren't in that level of accepting the Torah, that's why they had to die. That's why they were punished so severely. And from here also we understand Rabbi Akiva, who was their teacher, comes and teaches us, listen, this is the prerequisite, this is the big rule, this is the rule of thumb when it comes to the Torah. Okay. So Adkan, up to here, we learned a little bit midot. Let's learn some halachot of kashrut. Exciting. Okay, we were discussing how to kasher different things, how to make different things kosher. When it comes to glass, right, it says in Avodah Rabbi Natan that something that is made out of glass, it does not absorb anything and it doesn't give off anything. So once we have that rule of thumb, that means it's so closed off, there is nothing gets in it, so we have no problem. There is no hechsher between meat and milk when it comes to glass. A person drank a hot cup of milk in a glass cup. All he needs to do, wash it well, make sure there is no residue, and then you could put in it a hot meat soup and have it. Right? Same thing applies if they made a ham stew and they put it in this glass cup. No big deal. Wash it off and have your hot cup of hot cocoa in that same glass cup. Because it never absorbed anything, so we're fine. Ashkenazim are a little bit more machmir on this when it comes to only for Pesach. For Pesach, they're a little bit more machmir on this, but otherwise, even between meat and milk, Ashkenazi poskim will say that there is no issue, right? So when it comes to glass, you just got to make sure it's clean, and then you could switch between this and that. What about Pyrex and Duralex, right? These are different things. They're all glass. It's completely glass. That what do they do? You could bake with it. You could some of them you could even use them over fire, right? Turn on the gas, put them on the fire, on top of the fire. Nothing will happen, and you cook it. Let's say a person baked a roast in a Pyrex container, right? And now he wants to make. They want to make lasagna. In the same pan, you want to make lasagna. Yes? You made the roast in this glass pan, and now you want to make lasagna in the same glass pan. Are you allowed to? You're allowed to. Just make sure, scrubbed well, it's clean, totally, there's no...
you don't have to wait
nothing. There's no residue, there's nothing left in it, because that's the halakha. Glass doesn't absorb. Just got to make sure, true, it doesn't absorb, but things get stuck there. Make sure it's clean. Soap, whatever it is, use it to clean it up, you're fine.
Does that mean whenever you go out somewhere, like at the hotel, you can drink from a glass cup?
Yes.
Not China.
Correct. China, better to be machmir, right? But glass cup, no problem, because, they definitely wash it, right? And there's no residue of what they had. And usually in these hotels, what do they put there? Maximum, I could say, they had some non-kosher milk, maybe. I don't even know, how that would work. Okay, they washed it. You just had meat, you brought some meat sandwiches, or you just were at a restaurant, then you go, let's say someone goes for a dessert to this hotel lobby and wants to have a cup of coffee or tea or whatever, no problem. It's not a problem. Maybe they added milk to this coffee before. You ask for black coffee, you're fine. You're good to go. Now, clay and porcelain, right? They're always used, let's say, for meat. Obviously, these things we don't interchange. If it's used for meat, let's say they have bowls made out of clay. They use them for soup. So we don't interchange them. What if by mistake they cooked milk in this pot? They cooked, I don't know, dairy, rice and yogurt, whatever it is. I don't know, whatever it is. And now, obviously, it's asur because this thing is not glass. Now, it depends. If there is a big monetary loss, I mean, this thing was very expensive, and you can't afford it. You can't afford it. You can't afford to lose it, to throw it out. There is a way to do it. Wait 24 hours. What happens during these 24 hours? Whatever taste of isur, of the mixture of previously this was used to cook meat in it. Then they cooked the milk in it. So now there is a ta'am, there is the taste of meat and milk got mixed into this. Wait 24 hours, that taste becomes pagum. Then what you do is you fill it with water for 24 hours, throw it out. You do it again, throw it out. You do it again, throw it out, 24 hours, 72 hours, and then person could use it. That's only if it's a big monetary loss. There's a question, what is considered monetary loss? Someone is very wealthy. For him, it's nothing. Throw it out. But for someone else, this same pot is worth a lot. He loves this. What is it called? These clay pots. Kruger? Whatever the name of this company is. It's a very expensive company. Each pot is like $200. Whatever it is, $300. And the person feels like, for him, who cares? I'll throw in the trash. Someone else comes and says, no, this is very expensive and everything. Give it to me. For him, it's very expensive. He could do this. For that person that wants the pot, do this trick. Wait 24 hours, then put water 3 times, 24 hours, and then you could use it. But besides all that, any keli that became asur in such a manner, right? Whether it's metal, whether it's clay, whatever it is, and it gets mixed up. The guy owns, let's say, 3 pots, the same exact pots. They all look alike, exactly alike, and he forgot, washed it. He goes, it's too bad. This thing I cooked meat in it, milk in it, whatever it is, got it mixed up. By mistake, he puts it in the closet. Opens the closet the next day. She opens the closet the next day. He goes, wait a minute. Which one was it? Was it this one? Was it this one? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, curly, mo. He's like, he doesn't know what to do. You know what the halakha is? Batel berov. If you can't tell the difference, you say it's batel berov, you don't even need to do a hechsher on it. You don't even need to do a hechsher on it. Because that's the halakha from the Torah. It's batel berov. Best thing is, wait 24 hours. Even if there is a ta'am there, it's gone, you could use it. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Now, all of this, we're talking about when it's hot. Let's say it was only used for cold things. Like that example. Like, they only use, let's say, the cup or whatever it is, only for cold. They serve beer in it all the time. Like, forget about glass. We're talking about other things. Right? It's metal or it's clay or whatever it is, right? If it's cold, it doesn't get absorbed, right? So therefore, all you need to do is just wash it well, and then you could use it. Okay. Thank you.